to Educator.com. Today's lesson is parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines first. Two non-vertical lines are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. So let's say I have two lines on my graph. If this first line has a slope of 2, it is parallel to the second line if and only if the second line has the same slope. So they have the same steepness. If that's the case, these two lines will go on forever, never intersecting. Notice that it says two non-vertical lines. The reason for this is you may recall that vertical lines have a slope that is undefined. Therefore, it wouldn't make sense to say that two vertical lines have the same slope because their slope is undefined. Now, are two vertical lines parallel? Yes. However, they're not covered under this description here. They're handled as a separate case. So, talking about non-vertical lines, they are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines. Now, for perpendicular lines, two vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is equal to 1. So if I have the slopes of two lines, M1 and M2, and I multiply those, and I get a product of 1, these two lines are perpendicular. Another way to describe this is to say that the slopes of the two lines are negative reciprocals. So M1 and M2 are negative reciprocals of each other. Looking at this using numbers is the easiest way. Let's let M1 equal 2. Well, the reciprocal of M1 is 1/2. The negative reciprocal of M1 is negative 1/2. Therefore, for M1 and M2 to be perpendicular, if M1 equals 2 and the other line has a slope M2 that equals the negative reciprocal, then when I multiply these two out, I am in fact going to get negative 1. Therefore, two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if the product of their slopes is equal to negative 1 is another way of saying that the slopes of two perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals of each other. So if I have two lines that are intersecting at right angles, they are perpendicular, M1 and M2. The product of those two, of their slopes, is equal to negative 1. A line is parallel to the line whose equation is y equals minus 2/3 x minus 7. This line, it also passes through the point negative 6, 9. Find the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay. I am told, first off, that a line is, this line that I want to find in slope-intercept form is parallel to a line whose equation is given here. And this is also in slope-intercept form. Remember that parallel lines have the same slope. Therefore, the slope of this line up here is negative 2/3. That means the slope of the line that I want to find is also negative 2/3. Now, in order to write it as y equals mx plus b, the other thing I need to find is the y-intercept. I've got the slope, I need to find the y-intercept, but I have an x value and a y value, and I have m. So I can go ahead and substitute those three values into the equation and then solve for b. So y is 9, m is negative 2/3, x is negative 6, and I'm just solving for b. So 9 equals 12 thirds plus b. So 9 equals 4 plus b. Now I'm just going to go ahead and subtract a 4 from both sides, and that tells me that b equals 5. So I've got my m, and I've got b, so I can put this into this equation. Y equals minus 2/3 x plus 5. I approach this by first realizing that the line I want to find an equation for is parallel to the line whose equation is given. That told me that I knew the slope, and the slope is negative 2/3. I also was given a point on the line that I'm trying to find the equation for. Knowing the slope and an x value and a y value, a coordinate pair, I can use that in this equation to find the y-intercept. So I substituted in for those three, solved for b, and got the y-intercept. Finally, I put everything together to find that y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. Are the lines determined by these two equations parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, in order to evaluate what's going on with the slopes, I need to put these in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to look first at this equation, 2x minus 7y equals 8. So first I want to put it in the form y equals mx plus b. All right, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides to move that over to the other side to get it into this form. That gives me minus 7y equals negative 2x plus 8. Next, I'm going to divide both sides by 7, negative 7. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. And that's going to give me y equals negative 2x over negative 7 plus 8, which equals y equals 2x over 7. Actually dividing that by 7 as well. Okay, so I had minus 7y equals minus 2x plus 8. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7 to get negative 2x divided by negative 7 minus 8 over 7 gives me y equals 2x over 7 minus 8/7. So this is in y equals mx plus b form. Now, the second one, 3x plus 9y equals 12. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. That'll give me 9y equals negative 3x plus 12. Then dividing both sides by 9, y equals minus 3/9 x plus 12 divided by 9. Simplifies to y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4/3. Okay, so I have both equations in the form y equals mx plus b. And when I look here, I see that I have one equation with the slope of 2/7, and I have another equation with the slope of negative 1/3. Are these parallel? No, they do not have the same slope, therefore they are not parallel. Are they perpendicular? Well, if these were perpendicular, then I would expect that if I multiplied them, if I found their product, it would equal negative 1. But it does not equal negative 1. These slopes are not negative reciprocals of each other. Therefore, these are not perpendicular. So the answer to the question, are the lines determined by these equations parallel, perpendicular, or neither? The answer is that they are neither. They are neither parallel nor perpendicular. A line passes through the point negative 6, negative 7, and is perpendicular to the line whose equation is y equals 2/3 x minus 9. Find the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. So I need to find this in the form y equals mx plus b. Looking at the information I'm given, I know that I have a line with this equation that is perpendicular to the line that I'm finding. I also know that the line I'm looking for, because it's perpendicular, is going to have a slope that is the negative reciprocal of the slope I'm given. So this slope of the perpendicular line is 2/3. The negative reciprocal of that is going to be equal to negative 3/2. Therefore, I know that I have m equals negative 3/2. As usual with slope-intercept form, I need to find b. I need to find the y-intercept. And once again, I've got a point on the line, and I've got my slope. So I can go ahead and use that point and the slope to find b. So y equals mx plus b. Therefore, negative 7 equals negative 3/2 times negative 6 plus b. So negative 7 equals 18 over 2 plus b. So negative 7 equals 9 plus b. Subtracting 9 from both sides, I get that b equals negative 16. Now I have the two important elements I need to write this in slope-intercept form. I have the slope of negative 3/2, and I have the y-intercept. So what I started out with is knowing that I'm looking for an equation for a line that passes through the point negative 6, negative 7, and is perpendicular to a line with this equation. I started out by finding the slope by knowing that the slope of the line I'm looking for is going to be the negative reciprocal of the slope of the perpendicular line. So since m equaled 2/3, I took the negative reciprocal of that, which is m equals 3/2, and I found my slope. Then I was given a point on this line, minus 6, minus 7, and I went ahead and I inserted those values into this equation, as well as the slope that I had found, and I solved for b. b equals negative 16. Once I had the slope and the y-intercept, I could write it as y equals minus 3/2 x minus 16. Example 4. A line is perpendicular to the line whose equation is 3x minus 8y equals 12. This line also passes through the y-intercept of the graph of 2x minus 10y equals 40. Find the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. So they're giving me a lot of information, but they're giving it to me indirectly. First, I know that the line I'm looking for is perpendicular to a line with this equation. So I know that the slope of the line I'm looking for is going to be the negative reciprocal of this slope. In order to find this slope, I have to put this equation into slope-intercept form. So in order to do that, I'm first going to move the 3x to the other side by subtracting both sides by 3x. So negative xy is going to equal negative 3x plus 12. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. That's going to give me negative 8y over negative 8 equals negative 3x divided by negative 8 plus 12 divided by negative 8. These two cancel out, so now I have y equals 3/8 x plus 12 over negative 8, or we could just simply say minus 12 over 8. Okay. Now, I've got this in the form that I wanted, y equals mx plus b, and that tells me that the slope of this line is 3/8. But actually, what I want is the slope of my line, and I know that my line is perpendicular. So the slope of the line I'm looking for, so the slope of the perpendicular line is going to be the negative reciprocal, so that's going to be negative 8 over 3. The slope of the line I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm trying to write this in the form y equals mx plus b, and I found my m, and now I need to find my b. Well, in addition to this first sentence, I was also told that the line I'm looking for passes through the y-intercept of the graph of the equation described by this line. So in order to find the y-intercept, I'm going to change this equation, 2x minus 10y equals 40, and put that in slope-intercept form, because I've been told that the line I'm looking for passes through the y-intercept of this graph. So these two have the same y-intercept. First thing is to subtract both sides by 2x. Then divide both sides by negative 10. So divide by negative 10, divide all that by negative 10. The negative 10s cancel out, and then it's going to give me y equals 40 divided by negative 10 minus 2x over negative 10. Therefore, y is going to equal negative 4 plus 2x over 10. Okay, so rearranging this so it's in slope-intercept form, y equals 2/10 x minus 4. Now I can look at it and easily see that negative 4 is the y-intercept of this line. After all this, I can at last put my line into the form y equals mx plus b. So y equals negative 8/3 x minus 4. So that was a long road to get there. Let's look back at what we did. We saw that the line that we're looking for an equation for is perpendicular to a line with this equation. So I manipulated that until I got it into the form y equals mx plus b. Then I knew that the slope of the line I was given is 3/8. Since the line I'm looking for is perpendicular, the slope is going to be the negative reciprocal. So it's going to be negative 8/3. I had the slope, I have m. Now I'm going to find the y-intercept. I was told that this line also passes through the y-intercept of the graph of this equation. So I took this second equation, manipulated it until I had it in the form y equals mx plus b. So y equals 2/10 x minus 4. And since the graph of the line I'm looking for passes through the y-intercept, these two lines have the same y-intercept. So now I know that b equals 4. I go back and I put it all together to find the equation of this line in y-intercept form. That concludes this session of Educator.com.